Today's podcast with Rory Scovel is brought to you by SeatGeek. Guys, we're on. Welcome back to the All Good Things podcast. Rory Scovel in the house today. An excellent, fabulous, I would say up and coming, but I've known about him forever.
No, I like that. It makes me feel young.
He is young. Look at the skin. Look at the amazing, that's beard dye.
I'm 19.
That's a Just for Men in his beard because he's doing a role. He's playing Santa Claus.
Yeah.
No, Rory Scovel is here. New special on Max.
I dye this gray, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, so you can get the other roles, so you can have weight.
Yeah. I'm trying to play up. Yeah.
You're doing acting. He does stand-up. He has a new special on Max. Religion, sex, and some other stuff.
And a few things in between.
And a few things in between. I watched a lot of it. It's really good, Rory. I just love
Thanks,
the way
man.
you play with the, I think it's very hard to do stand-up in an original way, and the way you play with like all the beats and everything. It's so good. It reminds me of like
man.
Steve Martin a lot.
Thank you.
Like I
really
like when you
appreciate
stop in the middle of the show and you're like, time out. You're like, how far would you go to
Oh, murder.
yeah, to help climate change? Would you kill your wife and kids? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like when you're like, I would. My biggest fear is I kill my wife and my kid, and then I'm too much of a
Yeah.
so fucking good.
Thanks, man.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing stand up?
20 years now. Just hit the 20-year mark this past March.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. Flies by.
What were you doing when you first started? Same thing, just not as good.
Not as good for sure. Definitely like desperately trying to find the things to talk about. That thing we all do where it's like we love the high of going up and getting the attention and getting laughs, but like, you know what I mean? You don't really know what is the engine to get the laugh or like what is the topic. So I would go up and I'd screw around and improvise
you just like going
and
up
stuff.
there and being seen.
I really did. I really did like the attention to be like, ooh, what can I do with this to like see if people like it. It was good. I think I was good early on, but it was definitely inconsistent with like what I would talk about. I feel like I've always tried to, say something about politics or religion or sexual stuff or drugs. I mean, I feel like I've always existed in those four topics in some way.
Carlin-esque.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're really like, I want to be silly. It's funny that you say Steve Martin because truly I love how silly Steve Martin is, and I love like your Bill Hicks, George Carlin of like I'm making a point, and it's like, oh, I want to kind of be down the middle of those guys. I want to be silly, but I do want to feel like I did say my opinion about a heavy topic, but like I wasn't preachy and I wasn't too silly. So I think I've always aimed for that. It's only I think with this special, I feel like I really kind of found a groove I really liked with
Were
the
you
material
raised
and stuff.
religious?
Yeah, Catholic.
Because I noticed the beginning of the special is like heavy about the Bible.
Yeah.
And where were you, like North Carolina? Did you grow up?
South Carolina.
I'm trying to guess your accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. South Carolina.
Do you feel like I have one?
No, but
or like when I put it
when
on?
you put the character on,
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
like, oh, come on, y'all, like that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
just instantly funny.
It's just like inherently there. You grow up around it, and it's sort of one of those voices you can't. Even though I don't naturally talk like that, it's so easy to go
it's
to
like
it and
Boston,
feel it.
It's
and
so
exactly.
easy to drop into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same thing where I'm from.
Yeah.
You want to hear something funny that happened to me Saturday night? I got a call Saturday night, and somebody goes, "Hey, we'll pay you $5,000 to go hunt
What?
on a Well, initially they called me and they were like, this guy calls me. He's like, "Do you know anyone? Do you have any like famous friends?" And I don't have a lot of famous friends, Rory. I'll be honest. Do you know anybody? And we'll pay you a $10,000 fee if you can get them on our stream. And I go, well, okay, sure. I like. What's the stream? He's like, well, we're gonna go hunt. I'm like, what celebrity?
What is this?
What celebrity? Even if I did know a lot of celebrities, what celebrity is gonna go? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Like, so then they called me a week later
Go hunt is
They
such
go,
a
they go,
strange
they go, all
sentence.
right, different offer. We'll give you 5,000 if you come
Yeah.
to hunt. And it was just too much for me.
Did you ask what that entails to go hunt a like? Did they give you
Well,
sort of
it's
the
like-
bullet point
It's
presentation?
almost like, did you ever see To Catch a Predator?
Yeah. So is it that?
It's just that exactly. Not in a different form, different setup.
Okay. So they try to catfish someone into believing they're talking to like a minor or something, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess they set him, and I know the guy, and I think he's great. You know, I'm like putting him down.
Sure.
But for me personally,
Yeah.
I just thought, man, that's so fucking intense. But then I was like,
It is
$5
intense.
grand.
It is $5,000. I will say I do like the. I mean, do they just feel like you would be good at like pulling someone in? Because while I
I
do,
don't think they think I'd be good at it. I think they think
do think
recognizable from YouTube. This is.
Yeah.
I think that's all they might think.
I do think should be hunted down. I just don't know if it needs to be entertainment.
Right. That's the part of it. That's
That's what makes you go, huh, all right, well, I do like the justice.
Yes. Yeah, you like the justice part of it, and then when you're watching it, you're like,
oh,
man, this is raw. This is like really.
Yeah. It's intense.
But anyways, I'm out $5,000. Today's podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. Yes, SeatGeek, the one and only SeatGeek, the best ticketing app out there, the only ticketing app that I use, the app that's always on my phone and ready. So J-Dog, Jay Nash, can go and take his wife or kids or both or friends to the hottest concerts, sporting events, to get tickets anywhere in Los Angeles. But actually, you can do it all over the country because SeatGeek's in every city, every major city. And so if you want to buy tickets, if you want to sell tickets, SeatGeek is the app. And I don't have to tell you guys, they're the first sponsor on this podcast. They've been sponsoring my YouTube videos for years. We're going to see Noah Kahan, June 20th. We surprised Naveen with tickets to that. And last Sunday night, I went and saw Kill Tony with SeatGeek. I went on the app. I used my code NASH10, and that's the other thing I need to tell you. If you use my code NASH10, you're going to get 10% off your order. An amazing deal. I tell everybody this. Everywhere I go, if I'm at the store, I go NASH10, SeatGeek, NASH10, and you get 10% off. And I used my own code the other night. We went and saw Kill Tony, and it was an awesome show. Adam Devine was one of the guests, Harlan Williams. Hilarious show at the YouTube Theater. We're huge Kill Tony fans. And that was all part of the Netflix as a Joke Festival. And I got the tickets on SeatGeek. It was so easy. I got them day of. I surprised Naveen because she loves Kill Tony. And then brought my phone right up. Boop, 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 boop. I walked in, and we had the Night of Our Lives down at the YouTube Theater right next to the Forum. So that is the deal, guys. Go and download the SeatGeek app. Have it on your phone. Have it ready. I just can't tell you how many amazing memories I have because of SeatGeek. So have the app on your phone and have it ready. And my thanks to SeatGeek. Code NASH10. And my thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring this podcast. Do you think all comedians are crazy?
I think maybe all people are. Comedians just find an outlet for it, and it kind of works. And they go, "Oh, I'm crazy! Oh my god, I can't believe I'm making money doing this." I guess I do. I don't know. I mean, every now and then you run into a comic that seems like they have their shit together, and you get a little jealous of that. Like, I wish I had my shit together. And then
Yes.
if you were to go home with them to their place, you would probably walk in and be like, "Oh my god, are you a serial killer? Like, what?" You know what I mean? Like, I think we're all pretty decent at convincing people in our circle, like, "Hey, I'm normal. I get it. I read social cues. I know how to keep a conversation going. I'm lively." But I think all of us are kind of fucked up in our own way. At least the older we get, we probably start to realize we are.
I think I'm crazy for sure.
Yeah.
I just think that I'm. Sometimes I think like I'm just hiding it.
The craziness?
Yeah, I'm just constantly hiding it.
Yeah.
Constantly like hiding how I truly feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like you ever confront it or you ever let it out or anything like that?
In my car, I'll let it out by myself.
Okay, so great. We have a similar therapy location.
Are you ever in your car, like, flipping out, and then the wife comes up and is like, hey.
Yeah, you good? Ah! Oh, God. What?
Everything's great. Everything's great.
The car won't start.
Yeah.
She's like, it's already going. Oh, whoops. I have a Tesla.
crying?
I have a Tesla.
Yeah.
And when I freak out in my car, I'll have a freak out. I'll cry. I'll like yell. Sometimes I'll act out like just an imaginary scene of something in my head. It's just me releasing whatever. And there's always a moment I will stop and I'll look at that little camera that is right above the rearview mirror and I'll go, hi, everyone who works at Tesla that decided to type my car into your computer and probably just watch
watching
this.
you.
Yeah. But you could never put it out there unless you were some sort of rogue employee, and then that would out that the whole company films all of us. Actually, this should become a bit on stage. I mean, the amount of times Tesla employees have gotten the opportunity to watch all of us pick our nose in the car. It's like it's gotta be massive.
Really good.
That's got to be its own. That's probably its own category on a site. It's just like, and you're like, it's just like it's a kink, it's a fetish. Watching people
maybe
just
you
pick
open
their
your
nose.
next special that way.
Just talking about
A Tesla employee watching you in your car, just being absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Trying out bits, and crying.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of jump cuts.
And then calling someone over and be like, I think I found a legitimate comedian. Look at him. He's so broken.
That's funny.
He's so broken, but on stage
That's
seemingly
funny.
has it together. Because he can memorize the jokes.
That's funny. I've been playing the lottery a lot.
What? Scratch-ems or like pick the numbers, Powerball?
Yeah, I'm addicted.
What's it up to?
I don't know. It goes to like 300 million sometimes. And I gotta stop. Because I know it's,
Do you ever win any amount?
It's impossible to win. Sometimes I win $3. Because I play so many tickets.
What's a ticket? $1?
Powerball's $2. Mega Millions is $2. And Super Lotto is $1.
I mean, it's probably fun.
It's not though.
But what are you putting in a month? What do you think you're draining?
I'm probably doing about $200 a month.
I don't think that's bad.
But I'll tell you what's bad, Rory. This is what's bad about it.
What's bad is that I'm lying to you, and it's $200,000 a month.
This is what's bad about it. The amount of time spent in Fantasyland in my head that I won the lottery.
Yeah.
That's what's bad.
Yeah.
So it's literally me driving along like, I'd get a beach house. I'd paint.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never do the podcast again. You know? I'd delete my socials. I'd delete them all.
I know. I think about
delete
that.
them all. I'd
know.
wipe myself off the face of the earth. And everybody would be like, what happened to him?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't tell
And
anybody.
like I ran away.
And I wouldn't tell anybody I hit the lottery.
Yeah.
Because then everyone would ask me for money.
Yeah.
And it's that like, and I do that once a week.
Yeah.
More, maybe more.
When you go buy the tickets.
Yeah.
When you stop to buy, do you always go to the same location?
That's the other thing that my friends and I talk about is like, they're like, you got to go to Whittier. No one ever hits it in Studio City. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go to Rancho Cook. That's where you hear the winners are. Or Way Out.
Yeah.
Temecula. Sacramento.
I mean, that's going to be... Then you're going to feel even worse about this addiction because you're like, well, now the gas money, it's no longer $200 a month. It's $400. Half is gas.
I stop and charge the car. So I can go to Downing.
Exactly.
Or Downey, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't play the lottery, but I do get excited by it, even though I don't participate in it in any way.
It's virtually impossible to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
The other thing that's crazy is that I do quick picks. So now you're asking for those 5 numbers to come up twice.
Yeah.
Which is impossible.
Impossible. Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Although they do say quick pick, you'll have a better chance.
Those are your
winning.
best chances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to Vegas? Do you do craps or anything?
No, I don't do any of that.
Craps
I did win $10,000 once on one spin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one time we were making a video and my nanny needed a new fence.
Okay.
And went to Vegas with $10,000. and just put it on red,
Yeah.
and it hit.
Oh my
And
God.
we had all these rules. We're like, okay, like if it hits, we walk out. And
Yeah.
we're like, okay. And sure enough, right when we hit, one of us was like, let's fucking keep going, But I was like, no.
we said,
We got out. That was fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever hit big like that?
I've never, no, but I have hit big, I guess, in craps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love craps. Craps is fun. I like it a lot. I like it because everyone wins at the same time. We all lose at the same time.
Yeah.
I like that there's like, when a table is hot, it's the only version of team gambling you're going to get. Someone rolls, I don't know, 8 and the whole table loses their minds. And you're like, all of us are happy.
Yes.
Blackjack is more like, hey, your choices might fuck me.
Yes.
And I hate that.
Oh,
I'm like,
fun.
I don't want that.
I didn't know that about craps.
Well, craps is just so like, even when it's your turn to throw, everyone throws a 7 at some point. So you don't even have to feel bad. But sometimes, I've played with my wife and she threw for half an hour and that happens, which seems impossible.
Yeah.
But literally for half an hour throws however many times. And it's just insane. I remember one time I was playing in Vegas. It was the afternoon. And so we went up to a table that was like 1 or 2 people at. It was virtually empty. And we went up, me, my wife, and my friend, and we were like, oh, this is a great place to like play because, it's like, it's cheap right now. It's the afternoon, blah, blah, blah. The table slowly starts to fill up. And when a table's got a good vibe, and it really is a real thing. This one dude walks up, and I only know he's from Wisconsin because I asked, and he was wearing a thing. But he walks up right as I'm about to throw and gets right down close, and like he says something to me. Like, what are y'all doing? And I was like, what the f*** is this guy? And I throw, and it's 7. And he saddles right up next to me. So now he's about to throw. So I look at my wife and my buddy, and I go, I don't know. Table might have just turned. Table might have just turned. This guy does not know at all what, I don't even know if he's seen craps.
Yes.
Definitely doesn't know how to play it. Put some money down, and the dealers are everyone's being very nice, like guiding him. Here you go. Here's like the 5 die, pick 2, and you're going to throw. It's got to hit that wall. He's like, all right. I'm not joking. This guy might have thrown for 40 minutes. Big spenders at the end are tipping him like $100.
Really?
Because they're like, this dude, I'm making bank on this guy. Give him $100. Like,
wait, I got to stop you.
Yeah.
I'm realizing I don't know how to play craps.
So craps is like the big table where you're just throwing the die.
And what makes you throw for 45 minutes?
You just don't roll a 7. If you don't throw a 7, right, you're going to keep going.
Oh, wow.
And everyone is doing various things based on what they've decided to put their gambling on. Like you have to buy in.
Yep.
You have to start. I all the terms I don't know because I don't play it very much, but you've got to like put some chips down, and then as soon as a number gets established, you then can put, anytime that hits again, everybody wins. But you can just start putting chips on numbers.
Wow.
And if those numbers hit, you're going to make that much money.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so you just can make a lot of money pretty quickly. It's also your best odds of winning.
Yeah.
Anyways, this guy throws for 40 minutes. He's just like getting all these chips. He's like, oh my God. This guy who I started hating and almost left the table because I thought he ruined it.
Yeah.
He's throwing. I'm embracing him. I'm like, we are brethren now. I'm like loving this man.
See.
He rolls a 7,
Yeah.
which crashes the table. But when everyone's won that much, the 7's coming. But after a certain point, you're like, the 7's coming, but I've done well.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure I'm not going to lose it all.
Yeah.
I'm not going big, but I'm going to lose what's on the table at some point.
Oh, I love this.
But we've all made so much money. He rolls a 7 and apologizes to the table and is like legitimately, you can tell it's not fake. He's like, I'm sorry. And everybody is like, dude, shut the up. We're all out of here now. Like we just crushed this table. It's that story right there is why I like craps, because that's such an absurd thing that can happen where no one else is. It's like, hey, if I do well, you have to fail. I like the fact that at craps, it's like we all win, we all lose. We're a team. We're all a team. We're all going to make a different amount. We're all going to lose a different amount. Also, craps is one of the few games where if you see somebody with a bunch of chips and they keep winning, you can walk up to the table and literally just copy what they're doing and not even understand. Just go, well, this person seems to know. Oh, they're going there. Oh, they're doing that. I'll do that.
Oh, wow.
And like, just go, hey, I might lose, but looks like they know what they're doing. So if you just follow them, you might end up with a bunch of chips.
Damn, and when will you play craps again? When will be the next time?
Next time I'm in Vegas. My wife's parents live there, so
Oh, yeah?
we go, somewhat regularly
So
to
you
go
pop
visit
over
them.
to the casino, have a little fun?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes
fun.
we don't. Sometimes we're just suburban Vegas, which is its whole other vibe.
What's suburban Vegas like?
It's not for me. I don't think Vegas is really for me. If you said, hey, we're going to Vegas and we're going for one night, I'm like, great.
It's great.
Good.
Yeah.
If you said 2 nights, I'm like, that's a stretch. 3 nights, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go.
Someone tried to convince me yesterday to move there for tax purposes.
No.
No.
I don't think it's worth that.
Really?
There's a lot of places you can move to for tax purposes.
Right.
But I think you might find more peace of mind.
Yeah. Everything's so hot.
It's hot. At what point are they just, is there water now? Is there water there now? Like, what is going on in Vegas?
Someone was explaining that tax purpose thing, and every time somebody slices it up for me, I'm like, I agree with you. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to live in Phoenix for half the time?
Yeah.
What am I going to do there for half the time? Or like, I don't understand how people do that.
Right. Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you drive there, so there's no flight record.
Oh.
So the IRS can't trace your flight, like, because if they see, like, there's some like crazy shit that goes on. And then I was like, do they trace your phone? And they're like, they can.
Yeah.
So your phone has to be.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy.
But
I don't think I'd enjoy it. I really, like you said about winning the lottery and deciding what you would do, like, there's a big part of me. It's like, just get me up in the mountains near a lake. Let me build a hammock.
Build
a
hammock.
Yeah, let me build a hammock
with thread, with
hardwood.
rope.
Let me make a hardwood hammock.
Let's see. Oh, hardwood hammock. I got you. A hardwood hammock.
Yeah, you just lay on it. It's just a board. But I think I'm like, I think I'd go crazy because I really enjoy city life.
Yep.
But my fantasy in my mind is I just want to get the fuck away from all of this. You saying I want to delete my socials is so powerful. Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't it be the best?
There are so many people in this world, the majority of them in this world, that can just delete their socials. It has no benefit to their financial outcome.
Yeah.
Whereas you and I are like, well, no, I have to promote that the product I sell is available, and often that product we sell is through that social media. Yeah. You and I are trapped now.
You've done some mushrooms in your time.
I have.
Yeah. And have you found that to be helpful?
I microdosed yesterday.
You did?
And it was
how was that?
It was very emotional. It was difficult. It was difficult.
Were you in your car?
Well, here you go. So yesterday.
Oh, no wonder you're crying.
Yesterday was just like a downer thing. Yesterday I was very depressed. It was very dark, and it was also like one of those. And I think a lot of people relate to this. I couldn't really identify it, and I couldn't get on top of it. I was like, oh man, I am just like, I don't feel the emotions I usually feel towards things. And it was dark, and I got home, and I was like, I think this is the point of these microdose. I'm going to take one and just try to get out of this perspective.
Yeah.
And it was in the afternoon, and I had decided, I'm going to go, I'm going to make dinner tonight, pitch in, do my part. Looked up a recipe to make some pasta, and I was like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and get some stuff. And boy, it really kicked in at the grocery store. And I found myself staring at the massive amount of dairy options and having no comprehension of all of the key words that exist in the dairy options of like this % omega, but this is organic, but this is, these cows were pasture free roaming. And I'm just like, oh man, you're starting to feel the microdose, and yet I'm still getting very overwhelmed by it. And I mean, massively. I think I went to the edge of having a full trip, and I was just like, oh my God, I just grabbed some milk. And then I was like trying to look at my phone at the recipe. I just grabbed a few other things. I was like, I just hope that we have some of this at home. I didn't even check before I left. Went to an Italian deli to get some pasta. And then I just got home and I was just like, oh my God, like
And then your wife is like, "Did you get the stuff?" And you're like, "Well, sort of."
I was like, here's some stuff I got. I hope I have the rest. I'm going to go to the backyard and I'm going to openly weep for as long as it takes. And I got to say, it's very cathartic. It felt good. I
did.
I think that's what I like about mushrooms. I think it's going to go to the root of the problem and it's going to force you to be verbal in a way of like, oh, this is how I feel. This is what I want to say. This is what I don't let out. And like, I think it forces you to deal with things you don't want to deal with. I think that's the benefit of psychedelics. I think psychedelics have gotten this main image as it's a party, it's crazy. But I think their initial natural benefit is that I think they're meant to mentally help us out more than just kind of give us a cool concert.
Somebody sent me something the other day. They sent me mushrooms in the mail.
Yeah, the world is changing.
And I was so confused. I was like, it's a company.
Yeah.
They sent like a little bear that like lights up until you can have like a little light show. And I didn't try them.
I know, because you're like, what is this?
I'm like, is it legal?
Isn't it? Maybe you're like me in this sense, but don't you feel more apprehension towards the corporate, freshly sterile produced mushroom? You're like, whoa, what is that? Someone goes, hey, this one hasn't even been washed off straight out of You're like, give me that. That is of the earth.
Yes.
This one, you're like, what did they do to it?
Right.
What pot was it sitting in that got stirred with whatever? And now I'm going to take that. What's synthetic?
Right.
What synthetic element of this is going to fuck me up for long term?
Right.
Yeah, I hate that. That's what makes me. I used to think like, oh, that'll be amazing. Now I'm kind of like, oh, you really got to. And food in general is the same exact way. We're all like, where are you getting your food from? What is it? I think there's a lot of people that are like, just f***ing eat. And I'm like, I used to be like that. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I think there's some evil shit
Reggie
in there.
Watts told me a drug he takes. It's called
ketamine?
Ketamine.
Yeah.
A prescription for that. Have you ever tried that?
I have not, but I got to say there's some places you can go and have it, like, for instance, if this were just a full couch, I could be laying down and you could be the doctor prescribing and giving me ketamine. And like, I would just be here and you would be sort of making sure I'm okay doing it. And I'm like, man, I kind of really want to go see what comes out.
Right.
Ayahuasca, I feel that way. I live in, no, I mean, not that it's extreme, but I've basically done pot and mushrooms. Everything else terrifies me.
Yeah.
But ayahuasca, I think would be massive for me. I think it would change my life in a good way. I just, in the con corner, the con aisle, I just go, what if I don't come back? Yeah. What if I'm mentally gone? And someone could go, hey, it's 0.001% that happens to. And I would just go, I know. And that would be me.
Or what if you just have like a horrible 2 hours?
Oh, I think I would have I think I would be puking black tar sludge. Yeah. And I think there would be a shaman there going, this is what you've had inside you. And I go, I know. And I know I need to get it out, but I do not want to get on this roller coaster where I'm going to blissfully come out on the other side. Like, I don't know that I want to go through this hell. Mushrooms is a little bit of that. When you're like, for 30 minutes, your stomach hurts, you're sweating, you're uncomfortable, everything is kind of irritating. And then you come through that half hour and suddenly you're like, man, life is just so great. You feel good.
I never had that. I never had stomach problems.
Oh, man, I would get like, my stomach would tighten up.
My friends used to make fun of me because whenever we'd have mushrooms or marijuana, I would want to go out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they would be like, no, you can't go see people.
Pot, I think, is fun.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it on mushrooms. Actually, I admire that.
On mushrooms, I want to go out and like see people.
You're an explorer.
Talk to people.
Yeah. I admire that. I wish I had that. With pot, I don't fully have it, but I do like the absurdity of everything when I'm high.
Right.
And I think there's a little nostalgia to that because that's how I first started smoking in high school. We would go to a movie, and I would be like, the lobby of the movie would be its own movie.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'd be like, why am I so interested in this very boring space?
Yes.
And yet, if you told me right now we can't go sit down, and you said we're going to sit on the bench and watch the lobby, I would go, I'm fascinated by the lobby. And that makes you really step back and go, oh, maybe things are actually very fascinating if you just get in the right mind frame.
Yeah.
But mushrooms, no way. No, I can't handle the noise. If someone's like, I'm going to put on music, I'm like, no. No movie, no TV, no music. Let's talk to the trees and listen to the wind. That's all I want to do. I want to go sit in the woods and just do nothing. And I want to be with maybe 3 people.
Wow. I did acid once. The hardest I ever laughed was I was on acid. And
Is acid like an 8-hour adventure? What is
it
that?
was like 8 hours. And this is so stupid. I don't know if you think this is funny or not, but
I already like it.
fucking in the kitchen with my friend, my best friend. And he's just like, we're just laughing. He's like, like everything's so funny. And he just like goes to eat a banana. And he goes and he gets the banana and he's eating the banana and we're laughing. And he's just fucking, and then he throws the banana peel on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he motions to be like,
like
I'm gonna slip.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds later, he forgot it was there, and he did slip. And we were like, oh my god!
To get to find out that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Like a banana peel is slippery.
Oh man,
That's the hardest I ever laughed.
That might break me.
What's the hardest you ever laughed?
Oh man,
You know the hardest I ever laughed? Another one. I was at a movie theater once. I wasn't on mushrooms or anything. And this is just straight. And it's just like a preview comes on. And it just goes like, from the depths of the jungle comes a man. So you think it's like this like action thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like Jim Carrey pops up. And he's like,
Ace Ventura 2?
It's like Pet Detective 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's the hardest I ever laughed. I thought that was so funny. South Park movie in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Hardest I ever laughed.
Also, Team America.
Team America is hilarious.
Team America, I died laughing. One of my favorite movie experiences actually was going to see Jackass when it first came out in theaters.
Is so fun.
And I went kind of being like, it's a movie, but like, what? We're going to watch Jackass, which everyone, this is when it was like peaking. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
For that first movie. And I remember like all of us in the theater losing our shit at the same stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most fun way to watch this with a massive amount of people.
Yes.
I kind of got reminded of that when Mad Max Fury Road came out. In that first half of it where they're going away from the thing. And so that whole sequence that was like half an hour, maybe more, when it comes to an end, the whole theater applauded like that was the most beautiful art they'd ever seen. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in a room right now where we are all on the exact same page of sitting here going, that was badass. That was cool.
After you taped your special, did you feel that way? Like when I watched your special, I was like, wow, like the crowd is like really popping and like, they were fucking.
They were great.
Belly laughing.
It was
so loud.
They were awesome. Yeah.
Did you feel that way after you taped it? Like, wow, like
a little bit. I felt. I definitely had so much fun. Like we did 2 shows, and the very first show, I really just did the show as I'd been touring it and as I wrote it. Like my goal with this particular special was, I want to do the work I've always known that I've needed to learn how to do, and I've never done it. Yeah. And that was getting up at 6 a.m. and going to a coffee shop, getting decaf Americano, because if it's caffeinated, I get too twitchy and I want to leave the coffee shop. So I was like, I need to sit here and think I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So decaf Americano, and I would put on my headphones, get out the notebook, and I would work on jokes I already have.
Yeah.
And I never really did that before because I always thought you go to the coffee shop and people sit and they write. And I could never do that because ideas just don't come to me at that point. And so I've thought my whole career, I just don't do that. And then finally I went and sat down and I was like, oh my God, I'm such a idiot. I should have been here editing the whole time. It wasn't about writing. It was about listening to what you already have and getting rid of it and moving it around and what makes sense. And for the first time in my whole career, I really was able to quickly tighten up a lot of jokes that I didn't know could really just be one big joke. I didn't realize it. And so that felt amazing. And so that was what I toured, and it tightened up, and I found tags and I added stuff as I toured, as you do. And then when it was time to shoot the special, I was like, all right, let's not do what I always do, which is f*** around. I don't mind f***ing around, but I would always do it too much. So that first show, I basically did the act, and I dropped one joke, and I was so mad that I dropped one joke because I felt like it was a perfect show. And then everybody in the green room between the 2 shows that that are working on it, they were like, dude, that's perfect. They're like, we got it. They're like, we got it, like start to finish. And I go, I feel that way too. I just got to make sure I get that one joke in the next show so we can edit that in and we can just slide it in.
Yeah.
So I've just got to make sure I get that one joke. And so that was my only focus. And I walked out there and, or I was about to start the show and there was something about the curtain. So the space between the guy opening the show and then everything getting quiet and them saying action, here we go, was taking like 10 minutes. Oh, no. And I was like, right there waiting. And I was like, oh man, this is like when you're ready to do it and then it's stalling and that changes your mental everything. Like so in my head I go, hey, stay in it. Come on. You're taping it. Yeah. Stay optimistic, stay positive. This is not the end of the world. Just shut the up and just be fine. Yeah. And anyways, I went out and I kind of, someone had kind of interrupted the show and I riffed with it and I did something. I kind of forgot where I was at in the show. I got out my note cards and the show became so fun that the special is mostly the second show. Wow. With like 2 or 3 moments from the first show where the joke just kind of did better or I didn't trip up on a word. But the bulk of it is the second show, which crazily is a lot of me around.
Wow.
With me doing the act as it should be. And when I sat down and I looked at it and cut it up, I was like, this is the best example of who I actually am. I go, I'm not the straightforward written guy. Yeah. I liked that I was able to do that. I go, but this is who I am. I like having the jokes.
You're so smart to do that.
Around and like
because
the second show was just another show. I mean, I was doing stuff that I just hadn't done. I was allowing myself to improvise more freely because I was like, if it bombs, we just cut it out. Yeah, this audience will be the only ones that know that joke didn't work. I go, so release yourself of the expectation, knowing we're gonna cut it up anyways. And because of that, I think it led to a better show. It's
what makes it like special to you.
Yeah,
like, that's what I loved about it. I was like, oh, it's like he's like, because when I used to see you perform around town, I was like, that was my favorite part, like kind of the absurdness.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, I think so. I think there's an absurdity to it. It's like abstract. It's in the moment. Yeah. The downside of that in the moment stuff, the upside and downside. The upside is that audience and you get to be like, oh man, we really did something at this moment in time and it's really special. The downside is you rarely can repeat it in the same way. Sometimes you can't at all because it makes no sense. It only made sense in that moment. But and sometimes you can repeat it. It just doesn't have the same luster. Yeah. It's weird because when you improvise your jokes, it's going to have the most luster probably that first time. Yeah. Whereas when you and I write jokes, you go, oh, it'll probably get its luster when I've done it 50 times. That's when I'll have it perfectly shined. And so it's almost like the opposite effect, where to me it's like, oh, if you improvise it, it only kind of goes down. But if you're writing it and trying it out, it can only get better. Right. You know?
It's funny. I went and saw Tony Hinchcliffe's stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
We saw that like a month ago. My wife's a huge fan.
Where was his show?
He did a show downtown at the Ace Hotel.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then Sunday night, we went to the YouTube theater and we saw Kill Tony.
The Kill Tony, yeah.
And so different.
Yeah.
You know, just so, and his stand-up's great. We loved it. But Kill Tony is just like, it's just this, they ride this wave of, and they do a lot of callbacks. And, and it's so in the moment and it's so like, wow, like what's gonna happen? Right. And that's the only thing I can really compare it to.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like, what we do. It's just not a team sport.
Yeah.
And when you can make it one, which really, honestly, right now, it's like a podcast is a great way for stand-up comedians to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So like, hey, look how we can comedically create together. I love it. I love it because when you go out and you crush, like that is really fun. Mm-hmm. But when you crush and you come off stage and you talk about it, now you're a narcissist. And you're like, but the reality is you just kind of want to celebrate and decompress, but you can't. I've told so many people my favorite shows are like when I was in an improv group and we crushed, you could go out and talk about it forever because as a group, you're not narcissist. You're just, hey, I like when you did this and then and like, we're a team talking about it. But if the exact same thing happened as an individual, you're a lunatic. And people are like, dude, Jason, shut the. Yeah, it was good, dude. What do you need? What do you need right now?
You need that one person in your life that will sit there and and appreciate you and say, okay. And I don't know if that's your tour manager or your wife or your opener.
Yeah.
You need that one person, because I took my wife with me when I went on tour, and she would give me a good 10 minutes after, like, that was great. That was great.
Yeah,
that was
and
great.
it's good.
You want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also good to like come off stage and have that. And without you saying it, someone go, oh my God, this one thing was so funny. And then internally you're like, I also thought that was really funny, but I didn't know until you said it. So if you're saying that, my instinct must have been right. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're right on the money.
And the sad thing is, it's not narcissism. It's literally you going, hey, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make this product as good as possible.
Yeah.
It benefits our ego.
Sure.
But it benefits the person who pays the money and sits in that seat and gets a babysitter and goes to dinner and makes a night of it. And you go, hey, and because I'm a little full of myself, it's going to be a good time. You know what I mean?
So you're doing it for them, really, at the end of the day.
That's what we tell ourselves.
Guys, go see Rory Scovel live. He's doing it for you. He's doing it for you.
This isn't for me. I hate this job. I'd quit if I could.
I mean,
delete all socials.
Yeah, he's gassing himself up after his killer set for you guys, so it can be better the next time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Go watch his special on HBO Max. It's not HBO Max, Max. It's just Max now. It's incredible. Max is an amazing. I've been with Max for a long time.
Yeah, they're great. It's been great.
The Jinx.
Yeah.
And Rory Scovel special. I will drop these streamers, Rory.
A lot of people,
and I keep Max.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you watch my special, it then says other viewers also liked The Jinx season 2.
No, it doesn't.
And so but that would be great, and vice versa.
It probably does. Say
hey,
that
did you just
mine.
finish The Jinx season 2? Want to wash off that drama with a little bit of comedy?
Yeah, go watch The Jinx and watch Rory. And did you ever do Curb?
I was, it's funny. I was supposed to be in the very last episode.
What happened?
They had to cut. They didn't have to. They cut my scene because they changed Susie Essman's storyline.
Yeah.
And I was in her previous storyline as like a hotel manager. And when they changed it, it made no sense, I guess, that she was like at this hotel or would interact with my character. It's very funny because I kind of promoted it on Kimmel.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Schaffer emailed me and was like, I got some bad news.
Oh, no.
And I've been cut out of stuff before, so it's not like so shocking. And I have to admit, what I would have been doing in Curb was very fast. It was not like a huge chunk of something. I got to say, it didn't break my heart to get cut because I actually really couldn't believe I got to do it at all. Like showing up and shooting it and seeing how they shoot it. And I'm not usually like that. I usually can't lie to myself and say, I was happy just to get nominated.
Yeah.
But I got to say, this felt like that, where I was like, I actually am kind of happy that I just got to do this and see for my own sanity that you can improvise a show like this and it can work.
Yep.
Because I would also like to try to do that. And so I think I took something from it that was very beneficial, and also just working with Susie is fun. I know her, and like getting to work with Larry and Jeff and
incredible.
It was just very cool. Jeff is going to send me the scene, so I get to have closure and just seeing what it looked like.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, overall, it didn't. I thought it would. I read that email.
Why did it crush you?
I read that email, and I kind of waited for that like frustration or anger, and it just kind of never came. And I got to say that felt really good. Yeah. It felt really good to not get frustrated about it, and honestly, just be like, yeah, I've been cut out of stuff before. I get it's it happens.
I mean, Rory, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I know we're already
no
dead.
One cares.
We're all already dead.
No one.
That's what no one knows.
No one cares. No one cares. I mean, but it's like I know what you mean. It's like it's a really good, healthy way to be.
Yeah, I wish I could say that it was a decided emotion, but I think the fact that it wasn't made me feel good because I didn't force it.
Yeah.
But I got to say, it was just very cool. I've auditioned for that show before, and I thought that's as far as I'd ever get. And that was really cool. And that felt really good. I made Larry laugh in the audition, and I was like, goal, that's a win. I don't care what happens. And I didn't get that role.
Yeah.
And again, it just didn't bother me.
Did you like the way I feel how your part in the Amy Schumer movie came out? I Feel Pretty.
Yeah, I gotta say. Well, I was trying to play. Thank you. I was trying to like be like, oh, there's not like so many jokes here. I am like the straight man boyfriend here, and I really wanted people to believe it.
Yeah.
because I hate it when I see a movie and I don't believe
I believed it.
the two people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really want to believe it, and I really want my like, excitement for her, or her making me laugh, or me feeling bad for her. I really want all those facial expressions to actually seem like not an actor doing it. And when I go back and watch it, I was really proud of it because I hadn't really had that before. I usually had jokes to stand on.
Yeah.
And so I kind of liked that this wasn't that. It was like setting her up, and I really liked it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, you felt like a guy in New York that I would know.
Yeah, good, great. I like that.
And I never got to see Babylon.
Oh, you have got to.
I'll tell you.
It's 3 hours and 15 minutes, but I will tell you this.
Yeah.
It's a ride. And I think
we went one night.
I think years from now it's going to be it bombed at the box office.
Right.
And I think there's a number of reasons. I don't think it bombed because it's not a good movie. I think it's actually kind of a crazy, cool, interesting, unique movie. And I'm a big Damien Chazelle fan anyways, but I've seen it 3 times or so, and every time I'm like, there are some big swings in this movie, and I thought he did great. I thought it was a great movie.
I just watched Killers of the Flower Moon, and that was 3.5 hours.
I know.
I think the age we live in, that's a tough.
We got to trim them down.
A tough amount of time for people.
Let's go 2 hours max.
But I tried to go see it that night, and it was I think the director was going to speak before or something.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we were sitting there for like an hour and a half waiting for Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, right.
And then the movie started. I started watching it, and I was like, I gotta go. And that was it. 'Cause I had to get home. Okay, go check out Rory Scovel on all platforms. Go check out his special on HBO. And religion, sex.
And a few things in between.
And Rory, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
I'll see you soon.
This was great.